Hello, welcome to my channel. It's review time again and another KTRT bot that I've bought this month. Okay, before we get into that, something I forgot to do in my last review was show you the box for Beat Run. As you can see, it's very bright and colourful. Lots of pictures of the character, CGI renders of the character I might add, not actual pictures of the toy. It's got bits on the side, bits on the back, and lots of Korean hangul all over the place. Yeah, and he's seen as posing in some really cool poses with bent knees and stuff like that, which something the toy cannot do. So yeah, at least on Transformer boxes, when they do product shots of the toy, at least it's in a pose that the toy can actually do, because the Transformer has got joints and can do those poses, but these not so much. Anyway, yeah, so I just thought I'd show that. So, subject of today's review is a figure from Geo Mecha, Captain Dino, which is the second season or the second series of the Geo Mecha Beast Guardian, because that was the original first series. And in the past, I've bought a couple of toys from Geo Mecha Beast Guardian. I mean, the first one that I got was this guy, was Cayman. He's okay. He transforms into, he's got like a hexagonal shape or solid mode. He transforms into a crocodile, and he's got this robot mode, and he's pretty good, apart from the fact that I know his hips do work, it's his knees that don't work. His knees do that, but they don't go backwards and forwards. So, his leg articulation is ruined because he hasn't got working knees. But, he's a good, solid, heavy, shiny toy, and pretty good. Then, last year, I got Raptor, number 505 Raptor. Now, Raptor is a character from the original season, from a Geo Mecha Beast Guardian, which was season 1. But season 2 is called Captain Dino, and all the mechas are dinosaurs. And this guy is in season 2 as well. So he's he's Raptor. He's a dinosaur. He's in season 2. So theoretically, this toy, he's in both season 1 and season 2. But this is the season 1 version. I don't know whether the season 2 version is any different. He's a great toy. He was, on my sort of honourable mentions for bots I got last year. Cool looking toy, decently articulated. Free modes again. Rhombicubal Boctahedron, like an 8-sided sort of ball thing. He transforms into. He's got weird sort of articulation on his shoulders, but it works. They do sort of work. Yeah. 3 modes, robot mode, shape mode, and Raptor mode. The Raptor mode is a little bit compromised because the legs of the Raptor mode, they're look like clown shoes rather than Digistruct legs that you get on a Velociraptor. But he's still a really, really good toy, and I really liked him. Now, Captain Dino. I watched the early episodes. You got Tyranno Tooth and Stego Tank. Now, I was looking at the toys, they look really cool, but when I watched the Korean reviews of the toys, I noticed that Tyranno Tooth has got parts forming, major league parts forming. You have to basically, you get him in his shape mode, and then you have to basically take it apart and then reconfigure it into a dinosaur mode, and then when you want to go from the dino mode to the robot, you have to pull it all apart and then reconfigure it. It's like a jigsaw set. It looks impressive, but it's mega parts formery, and I don't really go in for that. So he looks cool, but I don't want to get him. Then there's Stego Tank, the Stegosaurus. He's a bit better. He does have a bit of parts forming, but mostly for his weapons. I mean, this guy's got some parts forming, but again, it's for the weapons. So he's better, but when I saw the articulation on his legs, his hips sort of lock into place. When in the transformation, it looks like his hips don't move at all, which is kind of like this guy not having working knees. So I don't think you'd be able to have much motion on the legs for that guy. So again, I was a bit reluctant to get him. And then as time went on, another 2 characters got released. I mean, yeah, you know, Raptor got into the game, and then there was 2 more. There was Ptero Storm, the green pterosaur, which is basically, you know, the replacement for this guy, and he's a green pterosaur, and he's, again, the transformation on him is very plain. You just, the arms and legs just sort of fold flat, and then you plug some arms on, and it becomes a pterosaur. And again, the transformation is not very involved in that, so I wasn't really interested in that. And then this guy that I've just bought, Brachio Cannon. Now, when I saw him, it's a big brachiosaur, you know, and he's really big, he's really impressive, and he looked pretty cool. And then when I saw the reviews, actually he looks like he's got a little bit of parts forming, but not too much, and he has got a basic amount of articulation. So I've gone for him, and let's have a look at the box first. Rather large box because he's a big boy. Lots of, you know, black and silver and lots of shiny stuff in the back. And then you've got, you know, product shots, Korean Hangul, blah blah blah. The box had a little bit of a dent in the corner, but it hasn't really damaged the goods inside, so that's good. And then here he is in his shape mode. Now, all the Geo Mecha figures have a shape mode. Now, he's like this oblong sort of octagon thing. Looks pretty good from the front, and then, you know, you go around the sides and the back, and it sort of plugs into the shape reasonably well, but you can see bits sticking up. I mean, that's a problem I had with this guy. When you get him into his shape mode, there's bits of the robot mode and the alt mode sort of sticking out from behind, you know, the shield that goes on the front. But Raptor, he actually forms a cohesive eight-sided ball quite effectively, so he does the solid mode rather well. This guy, not quite so much. Again, you know, he's got bits sticking up. You can see bits sticking outside, but it's reasonably solid, quite heavy, and it's not so bad. So that's all you can say about the shape. I mean, in the show they have this base, which is like a base behind a dam, and then when they launch, these sort of cannon things come out the front of the dam, and they get shot into the air, and then they sort of transform and land where they're needed, usually in beast mode or dino mode, and then they do battle with the bad guys. Yeah, so not much more you can say about that. It's a shape. It compresses down into this thing. So now take the shield off, and before we do anything else, this guy does have lights and sounds, and if you look in here, he got a load of these sort of like tile things which plug onto the inside of his shield. The shield has joints on it, so it can open out, and this bit in the middle can spin all around, so it has a certain amount of articulation on the shield. But just put that back together for now. We don't really need that just yet. Then we get this. Now we're going to go to the Braccio mode next, and like I said, a bit of parts forming involved. So you sort of pull this bit off, you pull that bit off, and you pull that bit off. Now this you open out, and that becomes the tail, and then these 2 bits you plug them together. Obviously, yeah, there's a little button there. The light and sound effects thing is inside here, and you flip this round, form his head, and he's got a little mouth, so that's his neck. And then we just got to get the body done. Now, obviously you can see the chest and the arms and the legs of the robot mode there. Basically, all you do is these arms, you sort of pull them out and bring them forwards, then rotate take the arms to the front, bring them up. Oh, you have to actually bring them down, that's it. Like so, and then there's these bits under here which you flip out for the rear legs, and you've got this thing here. Yeah, I keep hitting the button. So you get this, and then there's a slot here, and that plugs in like so, and then the tail, there's a slot in the back, and the tail goes in, and there we have Brachio Cannon in his Brachio mode. And as you can see, he's quite big, he's quite large. Size comparison, let's get Combiner Wars Megs down. As you can see, he's quite big. Now, there isn't really anywhere to put the shield in Brachio mode. He does have a port there and a port there that it will plug into. I mean, so you can plug that into there, and then it can sort of sit on the back like that. Or if you open it out, you can give him wings, like canard wings. It's a bit weird. I don't know whether that's how it's what you're supposed to do with it, but I've not really looked at the instructions, to be honest, because obviously they're all in Korean and I don't understand them. Lots of nice pictures, but you don't really need instructions to transform these things, because the transformations are generally, they're quite intuitive. Though I did have to get this guy into the shape mode, I did have to have a quick squint at the a couple of steps of the instructions to get him into the shape mode, because it wasn't immediately obvious when you disconnected this bit and this bit and this bit where they fitted onto the shape. So I did cheat a little bit, but for the most part I've figured him out for myself. Anyway, so Brachio Saw mode. You got a little bit of motion on the neck there. The head can go down and up that far, and it's got an opening mouth. Legs are on ratchets, and then you can turn that round like that, and there is a bit of a knee bend. You can pull them out and get more of a knee bend, but that's more for the robot mode. So now these back legs, these are the rear legs of the Brachio, and they're just shaped panels that sort of fold out from the the underside of the robot mode. They're a bit crap, to be honest. They do work as sort of legs, I suppose, that support the rear of the beast when it's on a flat surface, but they don't really look like legs. I mean, this could be the top of the leg, but this bit, I mean, it just looks weird, and don't think they thought that through particularly well myself. So anyway, Brachio mode, pretty cool. It's quite large, yeah. So that's that. So let's get into the robot mode. Again, this requires parts forming. You've got to be careful not to hit the switch to get the noises coming out. So you disconnect that, fold that like that, and then we just leave that like that for now. And you take the tail off. Now, this then forms part of the gun. Now, he's not called Brachio Cannon for nothing, because he has a filthy great gun in robot mode, massive great cannon, and this is part of it. So you then, there's a slot there and a thing there, and you slot that together, and that is basically the cannon mode. It does have a handle that comes out, and there's that. Now, transforming into robot mode. bring him up, obviously fold those bits in, then start opening the legs, split them, then bring the feet down, and there's a little heel spur in the bottom that you can open. Then the arms. Now you get the shoulders and you bring them out on this joint here and go up like that. So you pull it out, hinge it up, and there's these collapsible panels which come out of the side, and you flip down the fists, then you pull the arms out and rotate them to the side. So that's the arms, and then finally head reveal. Press his belly button and his head pops up, and there we have Brachio Cannon in his robot mode, and he is very, very impressive looking robot. I mean, he's big. I mean, there he is next to Combiner Wars Megs. He's considerably larger than Combiner Wars Megs. I mean, he's I don't know. I mean, I don't know what size class it would be. Which isn't really. It's not a Titan. It's Ultras. Are they bigger than Leader class? Anyway, he's rather large. However, good looking bot. I will say though, obviously he's packaged in robot mode, and you have to get him out. And then when I picked him up, I thought, bloody hell, this guy feels quite lightweight. And I've noticed that the plastic quality on some of the bits on this aren't quite as good as previous figures that Young Toys have done. I mean, he's not quite as shiny as some of the previous KTRT bots I've got, because they usually have quite a hard, shiny plastic that's, you know, relatively scratch resistant. This guy, not so much. He feels a bit light, and I did actually a bit suspicious that they've you know, cheaped out a little bit on the materials, because he feels like he's got some hollowness in him, even though there's no real evidence of that apart from, you know, them hollow bits there. But you know, everything else is pretty well covered. But he doesn't feel particularly heavy. Now, I've also got this guy. I've got Turbo Athlon Metron, who is a similar sized bot. This guy is considerably heavier than this guy, and they were both made last year. They both produced last year in 2017 from two different toy lines from the same company. They were probably made in different factories, but you know, they're probably designed by the same bloke. And I actually weighed them. I actually got the scales out and weighed them. What did I do with a piece of paper? Anyway, this guy came out at about 468 grams. And this guy was about 705, so no, he's considerably heavier. And I don't know whether, you know, Young Toys is cheaping out on the materials and using slightly lighter grades of plastic, and there are a few bits on it that do seem a little bit, you know, flexible and bendy compared to plastics of old. But anyway, enough about that. Look at the robot mode. He's very large, quite shiny, cleans up really nice. I mean, there's hardly any kibble on his back, so he cleans up very well, and he's a good looking robot. Articulation, got more articulation than Beat Run, but like I said, he hasn't got a moving head. Shoulders go around. Now you can get them to go out about that far, but obviously you have to futz around with these shoulder joints. Now he has an elbow that is a bit weak, doesn't quite go to 90 degrees. Now he has got a bicep swivel, but it's a lower bicep and it's below the elbow, so it doesn't actually work. So when you hold his elbows up, they won't bend in and out, but you can spin his arms around. Obviously nothing on the waist. Now hips. Now this guy, he's got quite oblong hips, and they go back okay, but when you go forwards they sort of hit up here, they sort of strike up here, and they'll only go that far forwards. But I have found, because this guy's made out of a slightly soft and forgiving plastic, you can sort of force it to go right the way forwards. So you can get a bit more out of it. Obviously, it does the slits, lots of ratchet joints going on. There's these little skirts that move out of the way at the front if you want to get adventurous with the leg posing. No thigh swivels. He does have double jointed knees though, so you know, his knees go right the way back, but again that's because of the transformation. And then the feet, they're cut at an angle so that you can get a neutral A stance. He has a little heel spur, and the feet sort of clicks into place and then bends backwards for the transformation. So he has got more stuff going on, more posability than Beat Run, but still fairly restricted. But that's typical of a toy from Korea. This is you know, which is typical. I mean, you look at this guy. Yes, he's got bicep swivels, thigh swivels, no waist joint, but he has got a fixed head too, as has this guy and this guy. So you know, they don't believe in heads that can, you know, rotate. They're fixed forwards, which is a shame. Right, now he does have accessories, like I said. He's got the gun, which has got a button on it, which when you press it makes lots of noises. That's just like the raw noise for when he's in Brachio mode. Now, you can hold the gun. You have to bring his fist out. And the gun is as you can see, it's quite big. It's the full length of his arm, and then you've got the barrel which will stick down to his feet. Now, he can hold the gun out straight, but if you want to bend at the elbow, you have to sort of move that out of the way and then try and bend it. It can't hold the weight of it, and as you can see, the gun likes to spin around in the hand. Let's put that down for a minute. Now we've got the shield. Has this big peg. There is a thing on his shoulder, and it will peg into his shoulder like that. It also has a handle that comes out, so one would assume he can bring his arm up and hold the shield in his hand, but as you can see, it doesn't actually lock into place at all. So I don't know what's going on there. I'm not sure what the purpose of that is. But now he has got inside the shield, he's got these little things here, and there is a feature whereby there's a little slot in top of the weapon, and there's a little thing here, and you plug it in, it makes lights and sounds. So I assume it's the same voice doing all the clips on all the different chips. I assume it's Brachio Cannon's voice, and plug another one in. Ptero Storm. Okay, so take that out and then get some more. think they've made a mistake here because that last chip I put in was Raptor's key, and it's saying Stego Tank for Raptor as well. And then finally, we've got Tyranno Tooth. You get the idea. They makes lots of noises and voice clips from the show, mostly, you know, calling out the attack names of the various characters. So there's that. Now it has this plug here for the shield, and you can plug the shield in like a stand, you know, like a machine gun stand, and it can, you know, like a mounted rifle. So there is that as well. And one other thing that this gun can do, on the back of the figure is a large port, and there is an angled peg in the back, so you can plug it onto his back, like so, and he's got weapon storage. It only just fits on there. So yeah, there is that. Yeah, he's a big boy. He's a very big boy. He looks pretty cool. Like the look of him. I just think that, you know, perhaps he isn't quite as well made as, you know, Young Toys products of the past. It certainly doesn't seem as heavy or as solid as some of the others figures that I've bought from them, like mostly these ones I've got here. He's decent. Reasonably articulated. He's got like fairly typical articulation for a you know, Korean robot toy. He's okay. He's probably one of the better figures from, you know, the Captain Dino line. I might get Stego Tank. I don't know. We'll just have to see how it goes. I may get him. I don't know. But this guy is decent. He's big. You know, he's pretty cool. Looks awesome, and you know, if you're thinking of getting him, you know, he's okay. Kind of expensive because he's a bigger figure than the others, but as you can see, he's decently painted, fairly chunky, but big old plastic robot toy from Korea. So that's all I've got to say on this guy. He's, you know, he's a decent enough figure, and I'm glad I got him. I was going to get this guy in December, but because of that whole blah blah blah, me waiting on that Wei Jiang Megatron to come in, I didn't pull the trigger on this guy, though I could have done. But I've got him now. He's, you know, one of the first KTRTs I've got this year. Like I said, I don't know whether I'm going to be buying 2 KTRTs a month this year. I haven't made my mind up yet. I think I might be cutting back a little bit. I'm trying to restrict myself, you know, not spending quite as much as I have been, you know, in previous years. But that said, this is him. This is, you know, Geo Mecha, Captain Dino, Brachio Cannon. He's pretty big. He's reasonably cool. And yeah, that's been my review of him. I've been TFR Wilderness, and catch you next time for another Korean review, or maybe something else, or end of month bot haul, or whatever video is going to come up next. I'm going to try to maybe throw in a few extra, you know, proper Transformer reviews, maybe keep things running over. So with that said, I will catch you all next time. Ta-da.